I'm Poppy Balser. Please watch as I share with you how I capture the excitement of moving sailboats by painting them on plein air while they are sailing. Here's what it looks like to be here on shore as the boats go by. This is Chester Harbor, home of the largest annual keelboat race week in North America. I came here to paint the sailboats, but how do I do that when the boats won't stay still? Another challenge is that watercolor painters usually don't use white paint. The white sails and clouds you see here are unpainted paper. We painters have to plan ahead and leave the white areas blank. Doing that means I have to put the boats in place first and then paint around them. Here I started by drawing the shapes of the boats in pencil as they sailed by. I painted in the shaded areas of the sails as quickly as I could. Because this race is a class race, all the boats are the same size and style. This actually makes drawing easier. I have repeating shapes to look at. If the boat I am drawing moves or changes position or direction, I look at the others to find one that is in the right position. So the white boats by themselves are rather plain. I need to paint in the background around them to make them stand out. So that is what I'm doing here. My hand's in the way part of the time, and I've cut it out as much as I can. I'm still learning how to be painter and film crew, all rolled into one. What I'm doing at this stage now is putting in the water. It looks relatively dark against the sky and the boats. And I am, again, painting around any areas that need to remain white or light, like the hulls of the ships or the whitecaps of the water. That takes some slow and careful work at the beginning. I'm working from the top down and working fairly quickly, trying to get the entire water area painted in one go. I want the fluid paint to run down the page and blend my strokes together, this way making the water look as if it is indeed wet. You may notice, as I get further down the page, I am changing the colors I'm using to portray the water. I'm not just using blue. The water in this harbor is really clear, and so I can see the sand and the rocks lying under the water. I've added some warmer shades to the blue I was using for the water. This gives a sense of looking through the clear water to the shore lying below it. Now it's time to paint the sky. I've tipped my easel back as far as it will go, so that I'm not painting completely vertically. I use a lot of water in this stage, and I don't want the paint to run off the paper right away. I'd like to control the drools as much as I can. In painting a sky, I need to leave the white areas unpainted, or at least only touched with very light shades of color. So I end up painting around the clouds. I paint the blue area and then use clear water at the edges and let the soft shapes of the clouds develop almost naturally. Watch. I know, my hand's in the way, but I wanted you to be able to see the boats going by in front of my easel while I was painting. So here what I've done is I painted in the blue, and now I'm using clear water. The clear water is touching the edge of the blue paint, and it's diluting it at the wet edge. And then the blue runs into the wet white paper to make a soft transition. I'm not worrying if I hit every bit of paper when I paint in the sky. Some white spots are okay with me. Creates a bit of sparkle or a sense of life in the sky. So now I've added a darker blue for the shaded underbelly of the distant clouds. It looks pretty dark right now, but I'll basically tuck it in so that it fits in the scene. Now I was using more clear water. and that helps dilute the paint and helps it fit into the scene. I'm darkening the sky behind those boats on purpose. If you look at the scene behind my easel, or in front of my easel, you'll see there are not much in the way of clouds out there. But I'm using these clouds as a device to make the sails stand out in front of the background. Using more clear water and a bit of tissue, clean up some edges just a bit. I try not to use a lot of tissues in clouds. I know some people use tissues to blot out the blue paint to make the shapes of the clouds, but I find for myself that doesn't work too well. And again, I'm painting in some of the blue, and then I'll soften those edges with a brush loaded with clear water. But first, I added a bit more of that shaded cloud color to the edges of the clouds and let that bleed into the blue of the sky. Again, creating a soft edge. Now that I'm done with the really fluid part of painting the sky, I've tipped my board back up to get the sunshine, direct sunshine, off it. I find I can see it better if there's shade on my panel. I added some warm colors to the clouds on the right, just again to create a sense of life in the sky. And now I'm putting just a few details in the waves in the foreground. I've made a darker blue mixture similar to what I used in the first place to paint the water. And I'm just indicating some of the darker ripples on the water. This is pretty much the finishing stage of the painting, just putting in a few little fine lines, and then I'll be all done. Here's the last of the details, some rigging, the masts, a couple of lines, and that's it, all done. Thanks for watching, folks. If you liked this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends. Helps me know that you want to see more.